Good morning and happy Saturday. I hope you all are enjoying your Saturday. Just waiting. There we go. Waiting to pop up in all the places I need to pop up at. All right. Good morning. Welcome to those of you who are watching a replay. Let me just get that out there real quick. And today we're going to talk about some magical things. Today might be a little controversial for some of you. Today I might step on a couple of interesting toes. So we shall see. Good morning and come on in. In case you don't know who I am and you stumbled upon this, my name is Devi Maisha and I am the Sensual Energy Alchemist. I am a master life coach and sacred sexuality teacher, and my business, Sensual Energy Alchemy LLC, reconnects Black women, hey there, to their freedom, sovereignty, and their power through their sensuality and their pleasure. And good morning. Today, I want to talk about the magic of divinity. I'm going to talk a little bit about the magic of God and Jesus. Yeah, that's what came to me today. Out of all the things that could come to me today. Feel like Prince right now. I just can't believe all the things people say. Controversy. Okay, so we have been working through the Abundance book by John Randolph Price. It is day 24. We are on statement 4, and statement 4 says, through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. I'll read it again in a slightly different way, because why not, since we're going to go there today. Through my consciousness of my goddess self, the Christ within as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of goddess within me is my supply. So good morning, Facebook. Good morning, LinkedIn. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning to those of you in the Facebook group for Sensual Abundance. So look, as I was reading and writing this statement today, I was thinking, you got to have a belief in something otherworldly to really take in all of this stuff, right? It's not logical when you think about it. A belief in a higher power is not necessarily the most mathematical thing that we can think about. And then I thought about this reel that I had just seen earlier this morning that was posted in one of my friends' stories. And I didn't know this guy was a pastor, but apparently he's a pastor. And I'm just watching it, like, intrigued by what he's doing. He's on stage and he's speaking, and he says, hold on, I'll be right back. And he goes off stage and he changes his clothes. This is during service, apparently. Changes his clothes. He comes back and he gets in this ice bathtub, steel metal bathtub they brought out, filled it with ice, ice bath. And he's in his shorts and in a t-shirt. And as he comes out and gets in, you can hear his congregation like, whoa, like, oh my God, like, what is happening? And he starts to preach from the cold and talks about, and I'm going to probably put it in the Facebook group, and maybe I'll share the reel in my stories as well. He starts to talk about how you cannot believe in the magic that God has for you until you're willing to do the things that make you uncomfortable, the things that strike you with fear. And he was saying how he hates the cold and he's been doing this every day for 3 weeks. And, but he was talking about in order to have what's necessary, you have to do what's impossible. And I was thinking about that this morning as I wrote this out and I looked at the comments. The comments were really interesting and some of them kind of broke my heart. They didn't break my heart, but they made me like, oh no. There were some folks and they were like, this is not biblical. Um, he's talking about magic. All we need is Jesus. So where's the scripture in all of this? Theatrics on stage were just some of the thoughts that were in the comments. And I was like, man, they completely missed the point though. See, he was demonstrating what it looked like to do something uncomfortable in order to have a different outcome in your life. And I think based on those comments and growing up myself around Black folk who are a bit on the religious side versus the spiritual, there's a difference to me. There seems to be this idea that as long as you have this belief, that's just it. That's it. We don't need any of this. All we need is Jesus. And that's just what life is. Right? Good morning. So I want to talk about good morning. The topic is the magic of divinity. I'm going to talk a little about this magic of God and Jesus because there seems to be this idea that magic is of the devil, I guess. I don't know. And I didn't grow up. Like I said, I didn't grow up in the church. And I didn't grow up with these teachings because the Nation of Islam didn't teach this when I was growing up. So I want to look up the definition of magic according to Google, because that's where all of us get our information from, right? And so magic is the power of apparently influencing the course of events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. Another simplified version is an extraordinary power or influence seemingly from a supernatural force. If I go by that definition of magic, how is a belief in a God not somehow magical? I mean, when you think about it, all of this that we're doing is based on faith and belief, right? When you really think about it, like when you sit down, put your emotional attachments to the side for just a moment. I want you to think about what it takes to say. Don't think about what everybody taught you. Look at your life right now. I want you to think about what it takes to say, I put my faith and trust in something I absolutely cannot see, but I assume is there. Supernatural force that is bigger than me, that has a hand in my life, and somehow think that doesn't fit the definition of something magical is a little beyond me. Supernatural. It's not natural, it's super natural. I don't understand how it could not be considered magical. The idea of putting one's belief in a human being who came from a woman who apparently did not have sex, but was impregnated by a Holy Spirit and then said human going by folks' beliefs, not debating the beliefs, just looking at it. Said human died, and then said human rose 3 days later, and folks saw him walking around. And to think that that is not somehow supernatural is a little bit beyond me. Because there's no logical explanation for any of that. It's purely belief in something that you have no quantifiable proof for. And I'm not saying all these things to suggest that one should not believe in it. I believe very much in a higher power. I'm stating these things because I also believe that this is all very magical. How can it not be? Your very existence defies probability. Do you know how many billions of sperm? Is it billions? At least millions. I forgot right now. How many sperm enter into a vaginal canal? The egg there. Research is now coming out, by the way, that shows that the egg chooses the sperm. So the egg has all of these sperm. Since sperm usually come out of males and females, I'm going to use the he's and she's, okay? So then she's sitting there, all these sperm are coming at her, and she's like, no, not you, not you, not you, not you. I'll take that one. Burrows itself in. And from that interaction, some force enters into this equation, giving you spirit and soul. So you're not just a mechanical being walking around, that you have emotions and feelings and empathy. And to say that's somehow not a miracle of life? Isn't a miracle kind of magical? So when I think about how we look at our connection to the divine, isn't it somehow magical? Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within, as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance, supernatural, this substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. You have to kind of suspend some kind of logic, don't you? When you pray or do spell work, which there's really no difference between prayer and spell work. And this conversation needs to be had because we need to start demystifying some of the teachings that have been given to some of us when it comes to religion and beliefs, spirituality, what's right and what's wrong, proselytizing and dogma. Because some of these beliefs are keeping us from living our most abundant life. Now, if you are a staunch believer in what your holy book says, and there's nothing else in this world, this conversation is probably not going to do anything for you because you're not going to hear anything that exists outside of what you've been taught. What I would encourage you to do to gain a deeper understanding of your own book is to look at other faiths, just to look at them, not to convert yourself. I get a little, I don't want to say nervous. I don't know if concerned is the right word. Let's say curious. I get a little curious about folks who have such a deep belief in something that they're holding tight to, but that at the same time refuse to look at anything else. Like nothing can take your faith from you. Nothing can take your belief from you. And the idea that there is only one way, to me, smacks of human arrogance and ego that does not seem to fit with God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. Omnipresent? But there's only one way to this omnipresent, all-providing substance of the universe. By the way, there's some of you who might be like, well, this book is false and it's a blasphemy, right? I love to learn about other faiths as another way to connect with the divine. I also recognize they don't have to be mine. Agreed. Now, along my journey, I have found that there is so much in common, and that every people, based on who they were at the time, based on where they were at the time, received a teaching from someone. That's just, we have to look at our books and the history and the things that have been happening, the things that were happening at that time. It's like everybody got somebody to be like, hey, this is what it means to live in divine alignment. And you know what's at the root of all of those teachings when you strip out the way to do it is love yourself, love others. I got to figure out how to get rid of those reactions. Be respectful. Take care of people. Like, it's not really rocket science, but because people didn't know whatever was going on with them at the time, exactly how to do that, it was like, okay, well, you know what? Here's what you're gonna do. Okay? You're gonna not eat this way and you're gonna eat that way because we need to help purify you. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna pray this way and not that way. You're gonna pray this many times a day, right? To keep you in alignment. These are the clothes that we would like you to wear because we need y'all to like get yourselves in action. Here's how we need you to move so that you can be in alignment. And then, right, yeah, reading outside works, a no-no. And then what happens over time is human beings in search of power and control, they take what was pretty clear and they turn it into something else. And so now wars are fought over ideology. So I want to, hey there. So I want to go back to the magic of divinity. Because I think what the pastor did in that reel was amazing. In order to show his congregation what it looked like to be uncomfortable, he got on stage and put himself in ice water. Somebody in the comments said, I don't want to see my pastor in his underwear. Bruh had on shorts to his knees. Didn't nobody come out in boxers or tighty whities? This puritanical idea that we have of how we show up as human beings is strangling us. And it reeks of restriction and scarcity. Whenever you do your best to restrict, it's scarcity, it's fear. Because if the belief was the belief, what are you worried about? Won't everyone get their just due or be judged or when they need to be judged? Why do you need to be in the comments section doing the judging? Why don't you just scroll on by and know God will take care of that? I don't got to worry about it. What is happening here? I think we've lost a bit of our magic and our belief in the wonderment of what exists outside of us. I think we need to bring back some of that childlike wonder. Doesn't it say something in the Bible about be like a child or something like that? It doesn't mean be ignorant or just not knowing. Children are not ignorant either, by the way. Children are some of the wisest creatures on the planet. So this magic of divinity is what we're looking at when we're looking at the statements in this book. And the magic of this divinity lives within you. The reality of you. How could you exist without some of this supernatural force? Now, the reason I want to talk about this, the one who needs to judge others, testifying to the fact we lost power over ourselves. Yes. Now, I want to talk about this because as we continue with the next 6 statements, I'm going to be talking about some magical things. And I figured this was a great way to start to bring this to the table. I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about, sigils and symbols. The cross is a symbol that holds a lot of meaning, holds a lot of power. The Ankh, the Star of David, the Eye of Horus, the Star and Crescent. These are symbols that hold meaning, that for many hold a sense of power. I'm going to talk about herbs you can use to increase your abundance. Little things you can do that are of nature, but amplify to make them supernatural. And I want to talk about how all of these things were created by this rich, omnipresent substance of the universe that we call God, Allah. Some people call him Jesus, Yahweh, Oshun, Yamaya, Isis, Osiris. Everything that I'm going to mention was created by this rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. Let's talk about the magical things, because every holy book is somehow just a little bit magical. Isn't it a little bit magical that a snake would speak to a human being? Have you encountered snakes? Have y'all had conversations? Isn't it a little bit magical? And again, magical meaning force beyond our understanding, something supernatural. Isn't it a little bit magical to think that a snake convinced someone to eat something? A snake convinced someone to eat something? That is believable in the word of God. But if I say to you, if you sprinkle cinnamon on your money, it's witchcraft? Because that's not of God, but God made cinnamon? And cinnamon, like all herbs, have specific attributes, which is why they've often been used in healing. Before we had doctors, we had oregano and parsley and cayenne pepper. We had rose water, dandelion leaf, red raspberry leaf. Because they have properties to them, but that's not of God, even though everything was made by this rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. I'm just breaking it down in a way to at least have you think about it, not to strip you of your belief, but to expand it. Keep your beliefs, but see the mystery in it and see how much more these beliefs have to offer you. Praying to the rosary is okay, but praying and lighting candles in different colors is not. Colors have certain vibrations. They were created that way by this rich, omnipresent substance of the universe, where the color red has a vibration, orange, yellow, blue, green. Do you all not remember Roy G. Biv when you were in elementary school? How are the things that were created by the same substance that created you, that created Yeshua, that rose Yeshua from the dead? How could that all not be of the same thing? So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So, just thinking outside of that box brings hellfire. Hellfire. So, for the rest of this week, as we go on, I'm going to be talking about some supernatural ways that you can raise or increase or shift your vibration when it comes to abundance. You can call it what you want. I just call it living with nature, which was created by God, Allah, whatever you want to call it. I don't have to strip away my belief of a higher power in order to do these things. Remember, God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. If I am to believe that it is true that within me lies a soul, and that soul is connected to that which created everything, would it not make sense that I am already powerful within, because I am a part of this supernatural substance that created everything? And so then would it not make some logical or mathematical sense that if I brought in tools of certain vibration to amplify my energy, that I am also then amplifying the energy of the God within me? And again, for some of you, it's blasphemy. We don't have God within us. We are sinners from birth. Someone taught some of us that our very act of creation was a sin. What does it take to live? How do you think, by the way, that affects the mind of a person? How do you think it affects the minds of Black people to hold the belief that the very act of creation that brought you into existence is dirty, nasty, and sinful, and therefore your very existence is dirty, nasty, and sinful? And can we think for a moment who it was that gave you that particular belief? Because it does not come from African traditional religions. It is not indigenous to our people. How do you start to come into a racist society already primed with the thought that you're not supposed to be here? That somehow God doesn't love you, that you're not worthy of God's love. I'm going to be judgmental for a moment. It hurts me when I hear Black people say, I'm not worthy of God's love. How? So God made you to suffer? You have to earn the love of that which created you? Can you just think about the psychological effects of that on you and what that means for what is yours in this world and how that primes you to be subservient and work and work and work and not ask for anything and not deserve anything and to just be happy with the air you breathe. Can you see how there's a setup from birth, and that belief was given to you? So this is how I'm feeling today. I said it's going to be a little controversial. And if this is not your belief, I have no interest in convincing you otherwise. If it is important to you to believe that you are disconnected from God and that the only way to God is through this narrow passageway that you will never actually achieve or get to because you are sinful, and especially for women who are taught this idea that your menstrual cycle is sinful or punishment. What does that do to a woman and how she views her body and herself? That this natural act that creates the space for new life to come in is a punishment. That the pains of childbirth are a punishment, and not the act of a uterine muscle contracting, and contraction does hurt. It just does. It hurts. Have you ever worked out? Is your bicep also being punished? Your tricep, your legs? Help me to understand. I want y'all to really sit with some of the things you were taught and be like, huh. Now, if again, it is important to you to hold on to the belief that you were brought into this world in sin, please continue with that belief. You go ahead and turn me off. If it is important to you to still hold on to the belief that as a woman you are somehow wrong and these things are a punishment for you, you like it, I love it. But if you're still watching this, something tingling in there. Divinity is magical by its very definition. It primes you for all types of suffering and abuse from all hands, that all love is to be earned, and you are just here regardless. And man, I could feel tears in my heart for that. That you have to earn your worth. You will never get me to believe that. Never. There's nothing about that that rings true in my body. So this week, we're talking about some magical things because it's got to be a little bit magical to believe in God, Goddess, the creator, source energy. Got to be a little bit magical to believe in air. You see nothing of it, yet here it is. And there it goes. Supernatural. And so much more. Most of you have no idea how supernatural we actually are and how deep our connection to divine actually is. Everything about how we've been designed as human beings. It's no accident here. And I personally refuse to believe in any being that has sent me here simply to be in worship and and earn. Like I was created to earn the love. That sounds very anthropomorphic. And if you don't know what that is, that's when human beings ascribe human emotions and thoughts and feelings to that which is otherworldly. We ascribe from our tiny human mind all of these attributes to something which is greater than all of that. All of what we are exists in all of that, and all of that is even greater than that. But we only see the parts that we can understand. So we attribute all of these things to this being, which is beyond. We also assume that we are the only human beings, that we are the only beings in the universe, like Earth is it, like there are no other solar systems out there, no other planets out there, like this rich omnipresent substance of the universe created one tiny floating rock with things living on it. That's a whole nother story, y'all. As you can see, the aliens are coming to visit us now. The aliens are coming. Let me get my passport ready. All right, let me read statement 4. And I want you all to enjoy your Saturday. Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within, as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. One more time. Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within, as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. It's got to be a little magical to believe that, right? It's got to be just a little supernatural. Got to put your faith in a force that you don't necessarily understand. It's magical. All right. So, man, listen, I could get into all of why things were deemed as witchcraft, specifically how they have pertained to women and specifically Black women in order to keep us separated from our power and the truth of who we are. But we're not going to get into that today because I got something coming for you, Black women. I've got something coming for you, and we're really going to start to dive into that so we can reconnect. Zzz, zzz. You don't have to worry about overthrowing something when you come full force with who you are. It will have no choice but to dissipate. All right, a couple of announcements as I do. First up, I want to tell you that the membership is open. The Sensual Oasis for Black women is now open. Come and get watered in sisterhood. This is my private membership group in which I will be doing weekly live stream teachings inside of the group. You will have access to special events that I will offer inside the group, and you will, for some special events that are open to the public, you will have some free access to them. We also have our monthly book club that is coming up in February. First book up is Sensual Faith by LaVon Briggs. So we will be reading that in February and discussing it at the end of the month. And every month we will have a book. We'll have a book of the month. We'll have our book club, and then we'll have our Zoom come together to really discuss the book and what it did for us. I've got tons of books to choose from, so don't you worry. You see my bookshelf back there? And I've got one in the living room, and that's just the first couple of shows. Y'all can't see what's down at the bottom, okay? Right now, you can join the Sensual Oasis for $25 a month with a 7-day trial, and you can join for the $25 per month investment up until January 31st. Come February 1st, the investment will be the full price of $97. So from now until January 31st, come on in. It's $25 a month for you as long as you are a member. Now, if you leave and come back, I don't know what to tell you, but as long as you are a member, it will be $25 a month. The link is the Sensual Oasis for blackwoman.com. You can also find the link in all of my links in my social media profiles as well. So I would love to see you in there. There's a few more things happening in there. I have some courses that I've done, some My art of oral lovemaking classes are also in there as well. An introduction to sex magic. There's tons of stuff I already have in the library that you can go through. Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff in there. So check that out. I want to let you know about Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. We are hosting our next brunch May 5th in the New York City, New Jersey area. So we had our meeting this morning brainstorming on places that are going to be beautiful and elegant for the Black women that we are in service to, and also to the men who are going to join our brunch, because men are welcome at our brunches. We love to hear your voice. We love to have the conversations. And this one we're planning is it's gonna be even more expansive than the last one. Each time we do it and we learn from the previous one, we add to the next one. So this one's gonna be something really special. We are so excited about it. So join our mailing list, follow us on our social media platforms so you stay up to date on what's happening there. Then you have Black Tantra Group. We have our upcoming retreat. The Quantum Sexuality Retreat is happening. It is April 25th through the 28th. You have 4 Tantra teachers who will be teaching you over the course of a weekend. Black Tantra Group exists to bring the healing energies and knowledge and mysteries of sacred sexuality to people of the African diaspora so that we can learn how to heal ourselves and from there heal our communities. And yes, your sacred, sensual, sexual energy is and can be also healing energy, but I'm going to talk more about that during the live stream that I do in February inside of my membership group. We'll have a class on that one. And the last thing I want to let you know about, here's my own link. Aside from coming into my membership group, which, like I said, it's $25 for now, 7-day trial. So come on in for 7 days. And real quick, if you come into the membership group, it's on Mighty Networks, so it's different. You're going to apply because you need to. Once you answer the questions and I see all of your answers, I may approve you to come on in, and you'll have to check your email for the approval and then continue the process. It's not a one and done. It's a little bit of an extra step, but there is an approval process to come into my membership group. You don't just sign up and just pay, okay? Because it's not. There's an approval process. But with Sensual Energy Alchemy, if you go to that link there, which is the link that's in all of my social media, you can schedule a complimentary intro to pleasure call with me. That's a 45-minute call, though I suggest you block off 60 minutes, but it's a 45-minute call. Well, I can just get to know you. You get to know me. Let's see if there's anything that I'm doing that's a good fit for you. And then we also have your pleasure mapping call, which is about 90 minutes. And that's where we really dig deep and we come up with some solutions and a game plan for how to tap into your sensual nature, how you can express that nature in a way that's in alignment with you so that you can experience more freedom, power, and sovereignty in your life. So you can click that link there to schedule your call with me, either the complimentary intro to pleasure call or the pleasure mapping call. Either way, it is up to you. Selective. Yes, ma'am. Very selective. Okay. Because every woman isn't ready to own her power and sovereignty. It's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. And it's very antithetical. It's very opposite to what so many of us have actually been taught. But if you're really interested, if you're over here talking about the patriarchy and you're waiting for the patriarchy to somehow understand, you will never experience what you need to experience in terms of your power. That is not how this works. If what you're looking for is equilibrium, that comes from you tapping into your power, which is a part of the divine presence that lives with you, understanding that, being responsible for it, and that includes your sensual and sexual vibration. And as we as Black women do that, the world will shift. I believe in that, like some of y'all believe in Jesus. How about that? All right. Oh, sir, sorry, my bad. That's what I get for attributing A to feminine. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful Saturday. Enjoy yourselves. And tomorrow, Tomorrow, I am traveling. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing my work. I really appreciate that, Alonzo. My bad, sir. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Tomorrow I am traveling and we're gonna see how this works because I will be live. It might be a little short because I'm gonna be on Amtrak as I travel to a brunch. I no, you know what? I know what I'm gonna do. I'll go live after I get to the hotel. So the live stream will probably be somewhere around 10. It'll be a little short because I'm gonna have to run to the brunch. But it'll be around 10. I don't want to do it on a train. When I'm coming back on Monday, I'm gonna have to be on the train. And I'm just praying that my hotspot and the service carries through and that y'all can hear me with the rickety rickety. But I said I would show up every day. I will be here every day. Okay. So tomorrow, I'll be live around 10-ish, 10 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time, but it'll be short. Okay. All right. If you follow me on social media, definitely give me a follow over on Devi Maisha. You can find that through my Sensual Energy Alchemy Instagram account. That's my personal account. I will be putting some behind the scenes stuff from my weekend. It is going to be amazing on Sunday up there. If you're following me on Sensual Energy Alchemy, I do have a channel on there. So you can always join the channel as well. I'm still figuring out exactly what I'd like to do with it, but you might as well join and hang out. And I check in with the channel every now and again. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful Saturday. I will see you back here tomorrow at like 10 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. Bye, y'all.